Namaste. Welcome to episode 6 of our 21-day series From Achievement to Alignment. Today we are going to talk about emotional mastery. Let me start with a simple observation here. Most of us were never taught what to do with our emotions. We were taught mathematics, science, languages, professional skills. But very few of us were taught how to work with disappointment, how to process anger, how to sit with fear, how to understand sadness. So we develop our own strategies for these emotions. We suppress, we distract, we overthink, we stay busy. We tell ourselves, I shouldn't feel this way, or perhaps I need to get rid of this feeling. But what if emotions are not interruptions to life? What if they are a part of life's guidance system? What if anxiety, frustration, disappointment, guilt, or even anger are not signs that something is wrong with you? But they are signals inviting you to pay attention. Today, I want to explore a different relationship with emotions. A relationship inspired by yoga, Bhagavad Gita, and modern psychology. Because emotional mastery is not about becoming emotionless, it is about becoming emotionally wise. And it begins with a simple reminder: my emotions are messengers, they are not my masters. Let's begin by understanding what emotions really are. Emotions are simply energy in motion. Emotions are movement. Think about your own experience with any emotion. Anxiety, excitement, anger, fear. All these emotions create some movement. Emotions are not problems, they are a response. The challenge begins when we misunderstand them, when we try to suppress these emotions. Some people also become overwhelmed by the emotions. Some become identified with the emotion. The emotion just overrides them. But if you notice, none of these create freedom. Imagine the warning light on your car dashboard. The light is not a problem, it's a piece of information. And ignoring that light or smashing that light is not going to solve anything for you. Its purpose is to tell you that something needs attention. Exactly same way emotions do work, and they are psychological indicators for us. They are not our enemies or obstacles or some kind of a weakness. They are simple information. And when you understand this, something will shift for you. You will stop fighting your emotions or seeing them as enemies. You start listening to them. You start seeing them as guides. Now let's turn to one of the most beautiful teachings in the Bhagavad Gita. Listen closely. After listening to Krishna's teachings, Arjuna asks a fascinating question to Lord Krishna. In the chapter 2, he asks, Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha. What does a person of steady wisdom look like? Think about that. Arjuna is essentially asking, what does a emotional maturity look like? What does inner stability look like? What does a truly balanced human being look like? Krishna answers and he introduces the concept of Sthita Prajna. A person whose wisdom is steady, whose inner state is not constantly shaken by external events. And this is one of the most famous verses of the chapter 2, verse 56. It goes, Dukkheshu anudvignaha manaha, sukheshu vigataspruha, vitaraga bhaya krodaha, sthitadir muniruchyate. Krishna says, a person of steady wisdom is not overwhelmed by sorrow, not excessively attached to the pleasures, and has become free from compulsive attachment, fear, and anger. Notice something important here. Lord Krishna does not say that never feel sorrow or never feel pleasure or rather never experience fear. He is not saying any of this. Instead, he speaks about freedom from being ruled by them, from being overtaken by them. That distinction will change everything. Because emotional mastery is not the absence of emotions, it is the freedom within emotions. Let us try to make this simpler. Lord Krishna is not saying that don't feel. He is saying don't be ruled by what you feel. You see the difference? If sorrow comes, feel it, but don't become it. If joy comes, celebrate the joy, but do not depend on the joy. If you feel fear, acknowledge the fear, but do not obey your fear. If anger comes, notice it, but do not explode from the place of anger. That is steady wisdom. Let's make this practical. Suppose you receive criticism. One person immediately becomes defensive. Another collapses into self-doubt. A third person will listen, reflect, learn, and respond. Same situation, three different responses. The difference is emotional maturity. Definitely the emotions rose in all the three responses. But it did not take over. Or imagine success, promotion, recognition. The Sthita Prajna enjoys success, celebrates success, but he will not build his identity on that success because they understand something profound. External events can influence my experience, but they do not define who am I. That is inner freedom. And perhaps this is one of the greatest needs of our times. Many people are not suffering from lack of achievement. They are suffering from emotional dependence on achievement. Before we bring in modern psychology, I'd like to share a powerful teaching from Gautam Buddha. The Buddha spoke about what he called the two arrows of suffering. Imagine you are stuck by an arrow. The first arrow represents the unavoidable difficulties of human life. Something like a project could fail, a relationship may end, someone may treat you badly, criticize you, or you experience some loss. You may not get the opportunity you hoped for. This first arrow is painful. It is a part of being human. But then, according to the Buddha, most of us shoot a second arrow at ourselves. We ourselves shoot at it. The second arrow will sound like this. Why does this always happen to me? I shouldn't have failed. This proves I'm not good enough. Things could have gone differently. I'm incapable to handle this. Now notice something. The first arrow creates pain, but the second arrow creates suffering. And often the second arrow hurts far more than the first one. The event itself may last just for a few minutes, but the story we build around that event, it can create suffering for days, weeks, even years. This insight is incredibly relevant to emotional mastery. Because emotional mastery is not about avoiding the first arrow. None of us can do that. Emotional maturity is learning not to shoot the second arrow at ourselves. Now you see the pattern. The Buddha said, don't shoot the second arrow. Albert Ellis in REBT said, identify the second arrow's belief. And Lord Krishna said, don't be ruled by the emotion. Three teachers, one truth. Your emotions are not the problem, but your relationship with your emotions is surely a problem. And this is precisely where modern psychology offers a powerful explanation. Albert Ellis, the founder of REBT, observed that events themselves do not create emotional suffering. Our beliefs about those events definitely do create the suffering. In other words, REBT helps us identify the second arrow. Imagine your manager giving you a constructive feedback. Now, this feedback is an event, but your mind may immediately create a belief. I must never make mistakes. Now, anxiety appears, shame appears, self criticism happens. The emotion is not coming from the event, but it is coming from the meaning you have attached to that event. You're understanding the difference? We have seen that Albert Ellis talks about three common irrational beliefs. First is self-demandingness, where it's all like about me. I must succeed, I must perform, I must earn approval, right? This creates anxiety, shame, constant pressure. The second irrational belief is other demandingness. So you demand from the people. Like must treat me fairly, people must understand me, people must behave as per my expectation. Now, this irrational belief causes anger, resentment, right? And the third irrational belief we looked at was world demandingness, which is how we expect the life to be. So, life should be easy, things should go according to my plan. This creates frustration, helplessness. Notice how similar this sounds to what Lord Krishna teaches. Attachment to outcomes, attachment to approval, attachment to certainty. When reality doesn't cooperate, suffering is definitely bound to happen. The next time a strong emotion arises, try this simple practice. Step 1, just pause. Before reacting, pause. Take one conscious breath and create space between you and the emotion. Step 2, name that emotion, label it. Ask, what emotion am I feeling right now? Is it anxiety, frustration, fear? Try to label it. Labeling reduces the emotional intensity. Step 3, ask a messenger question. What is this emotion trying to teach me or tell me? Ask yourself, What belief is underneath this emotion? What expectation has been violated here? What action does this emotion want me to take? This transforms the emotion from an enemy into a teacher. And step 4, respond wisely. Now that you have learned about the emotion, don't respond from a place of impulse or habit or emotional reactivity, but response from clarity. This is where emotional mastery begins. For the next week, I invite you to experiment a simple journaling practice. Whenever you notice a strong emotion arises, just write down. Write down what happened, what did you feel, what belief was operating beneath the emotion, and what might this emotion be trying to teach me. Do this for 7 days, just 3 to 5 minutes a day. You will clearly start discovering the patterns, beliefs, right? Your emotions will stop being storms. They will become signals. You may discover that your emotions have been carrying wisdom all along. If there is one thing I want you to remember from today's conversation, it is this. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing emotions. It is not about controlling every feeling. And it is certainly not about becoming emotionless. It is about learning to listen without becoming lost in the emotion. The Bhagavad Gita calls this steadiness Sthita Prajna. Modern psychology calls it emotional regulation. Different languages, same wisdom. And every time you pause before reacting, every time you question an irrational belief, every time you choose awareness over impulsiveness, you strengthen your inner steadiness. Your emotions are messengers. They deserve your attention, but they do not deserve the steering wheel of your life. Write in the comments and claim it for yourself. My emotions inform me. They do not define me. Now here's what I want you. Comment below what's one emotion you're struggling with currently. Try the 4-step practice. Use it the next time a strong emotion arises. Pause, name it, ask what is trying to tell you, and then respond with clarity. Subscribe if this conversation resonated with you. We are on a 21-day journey from achievement to alignment. And tomorrow, that is day 7, is where we bring the week 1 together in a powerful way. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, stay curious, stay aware, and remember you are not your emotions. You are the witness. Thank you. Namaste.